What's going on? It's the Broke Genius. I promised to do every month the Zodiac season. It's kind of got busy and tons of excuses, but we're gonna get this knocked out tonight. This is Libra season. About 7 days I would have missed Libra season. So um, definitely, I would say Libra is one of the most let's just say kind of misunderstood signs, kind of mysterious. Um, I really don't. Out of kind of it's some zodiac signs that I don't know that much about, and Libra definitely is like one of those. But one thing about actually presenting like different topics, and then also like kind of kind of somewhat being a teacher, because I actually was a teacher, just not to go in on myself as far as things, but I learned a lot of things by actually presenting things on my channel. And Libra is definitely one of those signs that I really just kind of didn't know about. All I know is a lot of Libra women. From the time I really started to really pay attention to zodiacs, which would be, I would say, the last 15 years, I have not really had anything going on with any Libra women. I think the closest relationship I had with a Libra was this a chick that used to come to my computer shop, and I mean she was kind of cool, but I think she had some, like, maybe she probably already had a relationship or something like that, because I was talking like maybe I was coming on too strong, because that was back in my days where I mean I had a computer shop, but I didn't have necessary. I was living with my mother, okay? So I was trying to, like, I was talking about some, like, can I stay with you type stuff. Maybe that kind of like turned her off, but I mean, that was probably my closest thing, because I was like, kind of, she was coming in and out of the shop, a couple times, and you know, um, that was probably the closest interaction. I just kind of like, I'll say mostly kind of just look at Libra signs or Libra women is like just like basically I, she probably most likely ain't nothing shaking, because a lot of the air signs, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't really, like I said before, my sign is Virgo, so it's Earth sign. So a lot of air signs, I really don't have a lot going on with. Usually, Aquarius, I know to stay away from, because my mom was Aquarius. Um, Gemini, I can kind of, Gemini is probably the only air sign that I probably can have something with, and I've had some, you know, very, very interesting, situations with in the past. But Libra, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not possible. I think Libra primarily is probably better for the female Virgos, because I got a sister. Shout out to my older sister. She's with a dude that she been with, baby daddy. He's a Libra, like the Will and Jada relationship. So basically, um, you know, Libra is an air sign. It's in the range of September 23rd, October 22nd. The planet of Libra is Venus. Okay, so personality of Libras: peaceful, fair, and they are usually extroverted. I mean, a lot of the air signs are extroverted, okay? Let's just see is what it is, okay? So just think of a hurricane coming at you. It don't care. It's just coming outside. It's going wherever it wants to. It's talking whoever it wants to. That's an air sign, okay? They are extroverted, okay? Most of the air signs, okay? So they are very supporting partners. They like spending time with their partners and joining their partners' activities. even if they're not really into them. I mean, these Libras, man, tripped out. They are very open as well. Just like an open book. I mean, even if like, cause like this chick that used to come to my computer shop, I I didn't know her. She just, lived in the neighborhood, but she would tell me like, kind of personal details of what was going on in her life, and I did too, because I was like, possibly can get something going on. So I'm pretty much open book too. So yeah, and they're very good at conversation. Okay. um they have a natural gauge of fairness. I mean, the scales, I mean, they know when a situation is unfair to them. Okay, and they will quickly point it out to you. Okay. um their actual symbol is the scale. Okay. So with a lot of things in the world being as it is, a lot of things are unbalanced. That's Libra all day long. Okay. So basically, you have um basically a lot of Libra. Libras, like I say, are extroverted, so they can get in relationships very quickly. They can they can meet friends very quickly. I mean, that's pretty much kind of what a Libra uh is, as far as their particular personality. Now, famous deceased Libras are Bernie Mac, John Lennon, Mahatma Gandhi, Ray Charles, Chuck Berry, Johnny Cochran. I didn't know, to be honest, I really didn't know none of these people were actually Libras. Okay. You know, and you know what? L- I- I'm gonna let me look up Ray Charles really quick, because I want to make sure that it's because I saw Ray Charles. I think I talked about Ray Charles and something else too. I think I was mentioning him. Yeah, he's a Libra, no doubt. Ray Charles is definitely a Libra. He's actually born on the actual day of Libra. So he's definitely a true Libra. So you also have Chuck Berry. Young people, they don't know what Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry literally is the father of one of the fathers of rock and roll. Okay, look him up, Chuck Berry. And Johnny Cochran. I didn't know none of these people are Libras. Okay, I just didn't know. And then you also have Dwight Eisenhower, president and 4 star. I think no, 5 star or 4 star general, U.S. Army. So famous Libras are, one of the most famous is Will Smith, I would have to say. So the women would probably, be like Kamala Harris. But I mean, to me, before Kamala, Will Smith was pretty much holding the anchor as far as Libras, as far as I'm concerned. But um, definitely dead second, especially of course because of the ongoing elections and everything. Kamala Harris is definitely a Libra. Another famous Libra is Snoop Dogg. Did not know that. Serena Williams, didn't know. I knew Nick Cannon was a Libra, because I was kind of watching his relationship with Mariah Carey. Lil Wayne is a Libra. I didn't know that. Doc Rivers, Kevin Durant, the new up and coming rapper Roddy Rich, Tony Braxton is a Libra. Um, and Deontay Wilder, did not know he was a Libra. Jesse Jackson, I didn't know either. And uh, author Tanashi Coates, T-Pain. The guy that plays the guy with the stick in The Walking Dead. His name is Lenny James. He's a Libra. Okay, and Maya. I mean, I you know what? I probably knew. You know what? I thought she was a Libra, but a long time. You know, I probably forgot that she was a Libra, but that would explain probably why I probably had no chance. But I used to have Maya's like picture on my wall when I was in high school. Um, I literally had two air signs on my wall. I had Michael Jordan with the poster with him um basically his arm stretched out and holding the ball, and then I had Maya on the poster on the wall. Um so yeah, the guy from Paid in Full, I forgot the character he played. He was the guy that worked in the cleaners. So Wood Harris, he's a Libra. Tony Dungy, the astronaut Mae Jemison, um, the father in Scandal, basically Joe Morton, he's also a Libra. Frankie Lyman was a Libra. Um, let's see who else is kind of notable. I mean, I ain't going back to like, way too far because it's like, okay, you can research who else is, a Libra or whatever. Okay. So Bron is a Libra. Okay, cool. All right. So that's LeBron James' son. Okay. So that's the you know, whatever that, I don't think he gonna whoop his son, man. He ain't whoop his son. Y'all need to shut up with that crap. But anyway, those are the famous Libras. Okay, so some of the Libra traits that are their strengths, they're very good at socially interacting. I mean, they're like social butterflies. Just very social. They're like freaking the Labrador retrievers of the probably the Zodiac. I mean, very sociable. Diplomatic. Good at like kind of resolving things, supportive, very witty and clever, just like naturally very witty and clever. And they literally love to get into relationships. They love to stay in relationships. They love to love, like literally. Um, their weaknesses, um, Libra weaknesses are they have dependency traits because they love to get into relationships and stay in relationships so much they get dependent on their partner. Like they don't want to ever leave. Like when people was talking all of that stuff about they was talking all of this stuff about Will and Jada. For one, they didn't they a lot of these people that stuff happens, they don't know about people. Like they don't really like follow people. Like I mean, like some people, like I've been following Will and Jada because pretty much I'm older. I'm like, damn near I'm middle aged. I mean, I've watched them back since when in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Fresh Prince of Bel Air was like literally, I mean, even before Fresh Prince of Bel Air, like when he was a rapper. I mean, that's how long I've been following these people. So as far as keeping up with what's going on with them, so their relationship, for one, was different than any other people's relationship. A lot of people didn't know that. Okay. You ain't really have to really dig that deep into let's see here. Yeah, their relationship basically was something that was different anyway. So basically they already had an open relationship years ago. So when people were like, oh, they gonna leave, he gonna leave her and all, well, they almost did, but I mean they were separated when that situation came about, but I mean, yeah, they they're not trying to give up no relationship. Let's just face it. Okay. And then Virgo women are notorious. I I mean, I ain't trying to put all my personal business, but let's just say, hey, Virgo women, they don't want to give up relationships. They will try to recycle a relationship like a freaking used diaper. I mean, that a cloth diaper. Like they don't try to get rid of like their men. Like they be trying to hold on to their men to the bitter end. Like you got two people, a Virgo female and a Libra male, that both people don't like to give up relationships. They tend to stay with each other for a while. I mean, it just two people that don't like to give up on relationship. So another one of their weaknesses is indecisiveness, because a lot of times they ask for people's opinions, and they're kind of somewhat even dependent on people's decisions as far as their advice or whatever. They tend to be indecisive. Okay. um, they have also, one of their weaknesses is toxic sexual relationships. They tend to get into a lot of toxic relationships because basically they just kind of somewhat are kind of flirty by nature, and they tend to get in a lot of relationships because they're very flirty. So, I mean, basically, that gives them a plethora of different, like, for example, men, they get, it get in a lot of relationships, and then it become toxic, or they even get, a STD or something like that. And then, it's just like, terrible situation. Okay. So, another one of their weaknesses is they avoid conflict, even to their own detriment a lot of cases. Like they will literally get into fights or about to get into a fight, and then damn near don't even want to even fight. They'll just be like, you know what, forget it. All right, you want to just hit me, and then all right, is that gonna make you feel better? That's a Libra. Okay, just punch me right now, and then we'll go have some drinks later. If that's really what you want to do, that'll make you happy. Like literally, that's their mindset. They just want to get it over with. They don't want to fight. They don't want to argue. You know, typical Libra type of stuff. They also can be unreliable. Okay. um, their unreliability becomes just kind of like where the last kind of like thing is their selfishness. And from their selfishness, they actually become like unreliable because they kind of it's all about kind of them and what they want and what they want to do. So with what they want to do is, pretty much zero in on themselves. They ain't got no time to deal with anything that you may need. So they could be kind of unreliable in that regard. And then they could also be kind of somewhat carelessness, like kind of like Pisces. I haven't talked about them, but Pisces can be like in their own little fantastical world. So basically, Libras are kind of can be that way, but just in a different way. They just be kind of like oblivious to things around them and just be like careless. So you know, like I said, I already talked about their selfishness, but that's the last trait that they have that is a weakness. They could be very selfish to other people. Okay. So common problems that Libras have is number one, STDs. Um, you know, they get in a lot of relationships because they're very social. One thing that people don't really mention, maybe a few people. Um, yeah, people have mentioned it because I've heard I've heard people mention that one of the ways that you can really kind of get a lot of women is by being very comedic. Well, Libras are naturally comedic, okay? And unlike Virgo, Virgo is comedic as well, but their comedy is kind of like introverted comedy. Like if they really know you, they'll be like, but just imagine a Libra being comedic, but they don't even have to get to know you. Like they'll just be off the gate, just very comical. Okay, that trait can be get you a lot of tail. Okay, so they get a lot of tail, thus vulnerable for STDs. Okay. Another thing is lower back problems. Now, I could probably go into that the reason why they going to get lower back problems because I mean, I would have to say it goes back to the sex. I mean, you're having a lot of sex. Your back, okay, your spine is getting a lot of action, a lot of physical activity. You gonna have lower back problems. Okay. They lose a lot of friendships due to their selfishness and their needy behavior. Either their partner gets tired of their needy behavior and selfishness, or um you know they just kind of like either one or the other, they just give up on them. I mean, then they just fall out, or somebody, they needed somebody to come like at a particular time at a particular date, and then they didn't show up. uh and it's just like all bets are off. I don't want to deal with you anymore. Bye, goodbye, have a nice life. Like that, they lose a lot of relationships due to those things. And the depression comes, they also have problems with depression because like if the world kind of like is really chaotic or unbalanced. But that's like anybody, well, a lot of people, but their depression stems from like not being able to be social because they're extroverts. So when they're not able to be, social, they can be very, very depressed. Now, um, kind of somewhat interesting is that, um, you know, as far as serial killers is concerned, Libras are number 4 on the list. Okay. Um, I was thinking at first they'll not even be on the top 5, or even anywhere up high, but they're actually number 4. Okay. They're tied with Aquarius actually. So they actually have like they have about 42 known serial killers that were Aquarius. So yeah, that's somewhat interesting. So Libra compatibility is Aries, Sagittarius, and Aquarius. Okay. So their recommended careers is first definitely judge, because I mean, being able to be diplomatic, and also, I mean, that's not shocking, right? I mean, the scales, actually that is, part of one of the, you know, kind of symbols of law, the scale, the unbalanced scale. Okay. So yeah, they typically are good with being a judge. Graphic artists, I don't understand, but I obviously got this off the net. They say freaking Libras are good graphic artists. Okay. Okay. Journalists, yeah, I could definitely see that because they're very good interviewers. Okay. So another thing is that talk show hosts. Okay. I think that they're very good talk show hosts because they're very sociable, very kind of social, comedic. So making one-liners and asking little funny questions and stuff like that. I mean, you just look at Nick Cannon, okay, and even any interview that Will Smith does. I mean, basically, it leads into what the other profession, being a comedian. Okay. I put salesman because from my opinion, I think with all of those traits, like being very sociable, being very people friendly, uh being a salesman just goes hand in hand with that. I know for a fact because if you're very good at, being very social, that's a natural salesman quality. Okay. So I listed definitely list salesman. And also lawyer. Okay. So most judges were actually lawyers. So, you know, that just goes without saying. I mean, Libras, if they are good judges, they obviously would have to be good lawyers as well. Okay. So, yeah, I barely made it with this one. I'm gonna listen to the playback, and I'm definitely uh, going to see if hopefully everything went well on my computer. I see an airplane signal. I thought at first I lost my connection. But I think it's okay, but we'll see. I'm gonna definitely listen to the playback and see what's going on. Um, you know, this is Broke Genius. This is the Libra Zodiac series. This is next one. See who's next coming up. I think let's see who's up on the zodiac calendar because I think it's either think okay, so I think it's either Sagittarius or let's see who's up on the I'm not really into like I'm not you ain't gonna catch me read no cards, none of that. Talking about houses and all that. I'm just very general with this zodiac stuff. Now, there's some people on. All you got to do is search on YouTube. It's some people, man. On actually, it's kind of hilarious because I didn't even know that it's actually some people doing fairly well as far as like kind of somewhat like on the YouTube space as far as being zodiac, like talking about zodiacs actually being like kind of somewhat zodiac kind of like experts or whatnot. Like they doing pretty good as far as that. So you definitely want to check that out. But the next after Libra is Scorpio. So that's quite interesting because Scorpio definitely is one of those signs that I look when I look for women, I definitely when I see a woman is a Scorpio, I'm definitely my antennas are raised because I tend to do very well with Scorpio women. Okay, so that's all we have. I'm gonna close this one out. Hopefully if you think I'm off point if anything, or if you want to put your input in, definitely don't be shy. Comment below. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you.